Welcome to Washoe County Library's Wild Wednesdays with Conservation Ambassadors Wild Things. So excited to be here again. Here is our wonderful host, Gabe. Hi,
Wonderful.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Morgan.
You know, I felt wonderful was good with Wild Wednesday. It's just good
That's
W.
nice.
Yeah, I'll think of another one for you too. What do you have?
Well, I just start us off here today. I have Calypso. This is a western screech owl. I think he's one of the coolest birds and quite possibly the most powerful predator we have here at the center. And we have big cats. But this guy here, he's a small owl that lives right here in the Sierras. They're found all the way over into the Reno, Washoe County area. And he's an amazing predator. This guy, he only weighs about 4 ounces, and he's able to take prey his entire body weight, his full size. I think that's pretty impressive. Now, Calypso, like all of the animals we have here at the center, have some sort of injury as to why they're not rehabable or why they can't go free. If you look carefully at him, you can see he's missing his right eye. And we don't know what happened to him. We actually have no idea. He was found by a very nice lady who did the proper thing. She scooped him up and took him to a rehabilitation center, now hoping that maybe he could get back out in the wild. But without 2 good eyes, he can't fly properly. He has no depth, field of depth. He can't tell how far things are away from him, which makes it very, very difficult to fly. Love having him. He's been at our center now a long, long time and traveled to so many school programs. I love sharing this beautiful owl that a lot of people don't know that we live alongside of. You see his back? Isn't that beautiful? You guys hear him talking?
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat little sound. It's his little. His name is the screech owl. It's a terrible, terrible name for this kind of owl because, believe it or not, the screech owl, he doesn't screech. This guy makes this, it's kind of a staccato hooting sound, kind of really quick and kind of jumpy. And that's the sound of the screech owl. But he has the name Western Screech Owl, and so we're always stuck with him. We get a lot of phone calls when people see these owls. They always call and say, "Hey, I saw a baby great horned owl in my backyard." And when people say baby great horned owl, do you remember the great horned owl we had on a few weeks back?
Was it Archimedes?
Archimedes, right. They look very, very similar, but a great horned owl, when it fledges or leaves the nest, is as big as it's ever going to be. Birds have to be full size in order to fly. So this does not represent a baby great horned owl. This guy is in his 20s. He's at least in his 20s. I think beautiful.
Calypso is beautiful. He is beautiful.
Some of the things that help him, he has that silent flight of the owls. Listen, well, that's not silent. He flaps his wings, and when he flaps his wings, he doesn't make much noise. It's a almost whisper quiet. And he has these great talons. Look at those claws. You see those right there on my thumb? Amazing talon strength for this little bird. Luckily, he's pretty nice to me. He keeps them in. But look at his plumage. A little gray and tan and black. Looks just like the bark of the oak trees that we have here. And he blended in pretty well in a conifer or a pine tree also. I think it's beautiful.
And somebody missed how much he weighs again in comparison to Archimedes.
He weighs about 4 ounces. So in comparison, Archimedes is actually a pretty heavy body, just because Archimedes is much, much larger owl. And Archimedes weighs about 1.5 pounds. So.
Okay. Wow, what a difference. And so, Gabe, you've mentioned, him coming to your center because of his eye. Can you tell us a little bit about Conservation Ambassadors Wild Things?
Sure. I always like to start off every time by talking a little bit about what we do here at our center. At our center, we're a rescue center. We house animals that, for one reason or another, can't exist on their own in the wild, or wild animals that people have tried to keep as illegal pets. So we get animals like Calypso that are injured and their injuries keep them from being re-released, or animals that, a couple of weeks back, we've had some animals on that people have purchased in other states and try to keep in their home. Now, what we do is we take these animals in, we work with them, give them a lot of love, a lot of attention, and a whole lot of food. And the animals that we train to travel and going mostly to school groups and libraries giving us a chance to share amazing animals up close and personal. And I think that's these guys' gift is their ability to go in and really get people excited about the animals that we share our planet with.
That's amazing and so important. Somebody asked if is he unhappy because they're saying maybe he's saying stop.
I think there's a little fly flying around right now. I don't know if you can see it, but he's actually getting a little bit antagonistic towards the fly. So I don't think he's unhappy. I think he's ready to go, though. I think he's ready to fly.
I bet. Just to all of our attendees, please put your questions in the chat box, whether you're in Zoom or Facebook, so we can make sure Gabe gets all of those answered. Calypso is absolutely beautiful. And remind me again, what type of owl?
This is the Western screech owl.
The Western screech owl.
There's one on the East Coast of the United States, and that one's called the Eastern screech owl.
Well, he is absolutely.
I think it's fantastic, and this is as big as he gets. This is actually a rather large Western screech owl, so pretty big. Yes, I think the fly's going to leave you alone in just a minute. Those eyes are huge, aren't they? The eyes, that pupil can dilate to almost the full size of that eye. He can see in almost complete darkness. Really cool. And he has a great set of ears. He can hear the sound of a mouse or even a cricket walking in the grass or in the leaves, and he can come down and make a meal out of it. One thing, we've done a pretty good job protecting our owls, and it's really, really important. We've protected our owls here in Western North America, and in doing so, we've actually affected the rodent populations. These guys are a super important part of that balance. Without a lot of owls, we're overloaded with mice and rats and gophers and whatnot. And then when that happens, people start using the poisons and things to kill them. That really upsets the balance and upsets the environment. These guys are super important, and I'm proud that we've done a great job protecting them.
Absolutely. A good balance to our ecosystem for sure.
That's right. All right, I think he's ready to fly home.
Well, thank you, Calypso, for making an appearance with us today.
All right, let's put him back.
All right. Again, if you're joining us, please feel free to use the chat. We have one more Wild Wednesday next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And you can see all of these archived on our YouTube page. So go back and see some of these awesome animals if you missed it. Or if you just want to be entertained, you can watch them over and over again. Which,
perfect.
Doesn't want to.
Yeah, next week we're going to have a pretty exciting animal to end it with. It's going to be pretty neat. So
don't miss it.
We have a pretty great creature to share with you all today. And we're all talking about social distancing right now. Well, this is the ultimate social distancing animal. This guy here, his name is Flower, and if he wants to, he can keep other people away, and he does it in a kind of a unique way. So, do you want to meet him?
I do. I absolutely do.
Okay, 1 second, and here he comes.
Oh,
isn't he beautiful?
He is absolutely beautiful.
Now, what is this? This is not just a skunk. This is the striped skunk. The striped skunk, he's called the striped skunk because he has that awesome racing stripe down his back. You see the stripe here on his back?
Yes.
Is that beautiful? Pretty cool. There is also a skunk called the spotted skunk. And you know what it has on its back?
I did not know that, and I did look it up, and it has spots, which is absolutely beautiful.
It's very, very cool. Now, the striped skunk, it doesn't, like I said, does not get the respect he deserves. This is an amazing survivor, an animal that can live right alongside of us in the heart of our biggest cities, a creature that can live in the desert. He can live in the Sierra. He could live in the jungle areas in Central America. This is a survivor. I think we got to give this guy some respect. Now, the first thing that people always want to do is to talk about the spray. They want to talk about the smell of the skunk. For those of you that have never smelled skunk before, guess what? Today, you're lucky. No, it's not. We're not going to do that. It's an amazing smell. And people always want to talk about how it works. And so I'd like to tell it kind of in the form of a story. So let's say there's a coyote coming out trail and a skunk is coming out trail. Skunk sees coyote, the coyote sees a skunk, You know what the skunk does? Doesn't spray, not yet. First thing he does, he raises that tail. And he'll raise that tail from side to side. It's like a signal flag. It's saying, hey, buddy, you better back off. I'm a skunk. If that doesn't work, then you know what he does? He doesn't spray yet. He stomps his feet, all 4 feet, does this crazy little nutty dance, all 4 feet. He dances around saying, buddy, I'm going to squirt you. And if that doesn't work, then you know what he does?
Then he squirts?
Not yet. He'll do a handstand. This guy can do a handstand. I can't do a handstand any longer, but he can do a handstand. He bounces up on his forepaws saying, buddy, I'm going to squirt you. And if that doesn't work, at that point, that's when he sprays. And the spray, it is dramatic. It smells strong. But a coyote could care less if something smells bad. It's not the smell that keeps him protected. The oil is caustic. It's almost like nature's version of a pepper spray. It gets in the eyes or the nose of the coyote. It's so caustic, it stings that animal might leave him alone. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's the skunk's only defense. You can see the claws are really just for digging in the dirt, and the teeth aren't that great. Well, let's see. Let me look a little bit. Let's give him a little. Here you go. Want some grapes? Do you know? It's right there. Do you know what skunks eat in the wild?
No, but I'm curious.
The skunks eat anything and everything. This is a true omnivore. They eat beetles, grubs, worms, fruits, flowers, dead stuff, eggs. They are amazing, except for grapes, I guess. Amazing survivors. And it's one of the reasons why they can put up with us and live in all those varying habitats and varying areas. So let me tell you this guy's story. Every animal we have has kind of a unique history. This guy's mom was hit by a car, and the lady was coming down the road, and she tried to stop, but she was too late, and she hit the skunk. Well, she was just about ready to drive off, and she saw the cutest thing she'd ever seen, this little tiny baby skunk. You see, there's a time in a baby skunk's life when it follows its mom. The whole group or the whole litter will follow their mom as she's walking along looking for things to eat, and they in turn are learning what to eat. So it's like this little skunk train going down the road. Well, this lady, she saw that little baby skunk that now didn't have a mom, and she scooped him up. She had a big heart. She scooped him up, and she took him home. Here's where she went wrong. Instead of calling a wildlife center where they could have been raised to be released or rehab back out in the wild, she took that skunk home. She loved him. She cuddled him. She gave him baby bottles. She let him play on the couch and watch TV with the kids and the dog. And it was, the neighbor kids came over. It was like a Walt Disney movie. They did great together for about 6 months. And then things started to change as Flower was maturing. As he was maturing, he was turning into the wild animal that he is. And she realized they're going to need to find a new home for him. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't go free at that point. He was too used to people. And that's when he came to our center. I love him. I love sharing with you. But I wish he was out there spraying something in the wild. That's where he truly belongs. Do you know what's funny? We always name schools, even like universities, their mascots are the Badgers or the Eagles or maybe the Tigers. We never hear anybody naming their school mascot the Skunks. But these are amazing, amazing survivors. And you know, he is in the same family as the Badger. I always tried to change the team, my youngest son's basketball team. When he was younger, when he played basketball, they were really a terrible team. I always tried to get them to change their name to the Skunks, but they wouldn't go for it.
I'm sure that was a popular suggestion among all of them. Flower's been touring with you for a while, though, correct? Because I believe we've seen him in the library system.
I think you have.
Okay.
He's been with us, many years. He's been at our center.
Awesome. Does he still have his smeller? Is what somebody's asking.
He does have his smeller. He does have his glands, and but he's never really shown the desire to spray. So he's very, very used to being around people. The one time I'm really worried about is if I have to slam on my brakes in the Wild Things vehicle, he might get shocked and we might end up with a spray in the car. So that's when I'm transporting, I have to be a really good driver and not be too close to the car in front.
At least before you go somewhere. After might not be.
Right, exactly. So a couple things with skunks. We do have skunk problems here in Nevada and in California. And the skunk problem is this. people are leaving their dog food and their cat food out in the backyards at night for their dogs to come and eat. And the skunks and the opossum and the raccoons are coming in and getting an easy meal. And it's really, doesn't seem like they're hurting anything, but by giving these guys that artificial diet, meaning something they're not supposed to eat, there get to be more and more and more and more skunks living in an area, and that's when they become very destructive and problematic. And sometimes that's when the population of skunks can get sick. So if there's anything we could do to really help keep these wild animals wild, that's bringing in that food at night. Our dogs and cats, they don't need to eat outside at night. Really, I think our dogs and cats should be inside where they're safe and comfortable at night. But if we do that one thing and we don't let the wild animals eat artificial diets, then our wild animal populations will stay healthy. I've seen skunk that have survived on beetles and grubs. I think that's just amazing. I've seen skunks that have been down on the coast eating clams and crabs. Think about that, a skunk running down the beach and catching things to eat. They're really amazing animals.
Flower is
and they're beautiful.
How big are their litters when
they have anywhere from 3 to 7.
Okay.
So that was a good question. A typical litter is probably around four babies. So.
Well,
nice.
He is pretty. And thank you because that was my question, is if they were kind of, scavengers like that, if you left things out, but you answered my question, so thank you.
Yeah, and we always have a problem. It's like people want to be close to wildlife, and so some people put it out there and think, whether it's a bird feeder or whether it's putting out grain for deer or whatnot. Really, the wild creatures are always adversely affected by that. I mean, it doesn't help them. It actually sets them up with an improper diet and improper expectations, thinking the food's always going to be there. That's when it becomes a problem. So whether you're up in Tahoe and there are bear around, you want to make sure your food gets locked up, or whether there's skunks and raccoons in your neighborhood, things like that, we have to be sensitive to the wild animals that we share the area with. His fur is gorgeous right now. I think here at Wild Things, we feed him a lot of fish. He loves to eat fish. I think that's why he has that glistening coat. Beautiful.
See, and that's good for you too, kids out there who are listening. Fish is not a bad thing if you're putting your nose up at it. So.
Yeah, I like fish, and look what happened to my hair.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, it's perfect. So, the skunks. If any of you kids want to when you play soccer again, if you want to get your T-shirts made, I think that'd be a great idea to name your team the Skunks. And then your parents could have T-shirts that say the Skunks. On the back, you could say, "We really stink." I think that'd be a really cool.
Yeah. Again, might not be the best suggestion, but.
Well, I have a lot of
out there.
So the front claws, mostly for digging, mostly for getting down into the soft leaf litter and the soft soil. They're like I said, they're not real sharp. And these guys are not climbers. They don't climb trees. So they spend most of their time down on the ground. Another thing that we can be helpful with skunks in our neighborhoods and whatnot is making sure we don't have holes underneath our houses. So the skunks don't go underneath the house. Just kind of sealing it off, and that way they don't become a problem. They don't become a nuisance animal.
Very good suggestion. That would be a big cleanup. Somebody commented how Flower is the perfect name for him. And so for anyone who, I assume Bambi reference?
Bambi reference, you're right. Now, one thing, he's awfully cute, and he's enjoying me scratching him, but I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Once again, this guy is a wild creature, and I wish he wasn't here. I wish he was in the wild. There's a lot of contact here that keeps him nice and calm and friendly, but I don't want to get the wrong idea. Not a pet. For me, a pet is an animal like a dog or a cat. My dog Morty was just barking. I don't know if you heard him in the background there. He's my pet. This guy should be roaming free out there, and I wish he could.
And a good message, just as a snake, trying to find those pets that fit your home and are appropriate for living in a household. Someone's asking a good question that I think is relevant, and you probably can answer to the owl, is she has an owl box in her backyard. Is there a chance an owl will actually live in it?
Yeah. Well, that's great. Owl boxes are wonderful, and depending on in the area where you put it, sometimes it takes a while for the owls to figure out where they are. But if it's high, somewhere between 15 feet and 18 feet up, it's usually the best for barn owl. And if it's an area that's not blazing hot, out if they had a little bit of tree cover, that's helpful as well. But yeah, what a great idea. Get those owl boxes up, and then you don't need to worry about the gophers coming in and destroying your lawn or your garden, because the owls will be there to do that job for us. To take
right. Thank you so much for answering that question. I thought it was a good question, when you see all of these things. Again, Gabe, I am so happy to be here. I love these animals. I love your presentations. I didn't come up with another good W adjective for you, but just a reminder for all of you joining us, you can see our archived stuff. You can get that through our website, washoccountylibrary.us, under Events Archive. And then our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Washoe County Library. So you can pick up some of the stuff that we're doing there. We are open for limited holds pickup if you want to pick up some physical materials, but there are a number of things on databases on our website. You can access more information on these animals or anything else that's piquing your interest at this time. Gabe, thank you again. I
Absolutely. Thank you for having us once again. Like I said, next week, we're going to have a very special guest that could quite possibly be the smartest animal I've ever worked with. So,
I can't be there.
You're not going to be there?
No, I'm just saying I can't. The smartest animal. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Mine don't work. Mine don't work. Well, thanks again. Thank you everyone for joining us for Wild Wednesdays again with Conservation Ambassadors Wild Things. Gabe Flower, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, John. Take care.
You too.